We're
let
a show.
let the actors get in. You know what I'm thinking?
Show, right?
Y'all knows I'm thinking. Like, I like these light panels. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, these things are great.
I like
Let's
these
not
light
wait
panels.
for
They
Uncle
never get
Frank.
hot.
I'm Jennifer Jiles, and it's opening night at the Long Island International Film Expo, and I just saw this amazing film that as I said in the Q&A, I was emotional eating because I said I know I have to go up after this. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not crying. I'm not crying. I'm not crying. And you were. It was such an amazing. Can you talk about the film? Because I don't even remember
Sure. Well,
the
we're
name.
here with
I'm
our stars, right? Chris Malika and Chandler
you talk
Roosevelt.
about, yeah. Go ahead.
So so we have our lead cast here, and
Chris Malika.
plays Peter Steele. And
Hi, I'm Chandler Roosevelt.
plays Melanie. And they were. And this is our assistant director Kevin Wolfring, big part of this.
Editor too.
And yes,
Yes,
and
we
Chris,
edited
Chris
together.
and Kevin edited the film as well. That's right.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
And I wrote and directed it, and this is our team. This is part of the team. Part of the team. Our colorist and sound mixer, Jan Clears over there, and we're very happy to be here.
It's and there's some kids that should be in this.
They're getting home to bed.
Oh, kids are.
They're
going
getting
to
home to
bed.
bed. Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife is shuttling them home to
I
to
see.
sleep.
I see.
Yeah, they're hitting the wall.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little
So your daughters were in this film.
Yes, my older daughter Eleanor played Mia, and my younger daughter Peppa was the girl in the red sweater at the very end.
Come up here.
Yes.
Those are my
I'm
children.
taller
So
than you.
tell us a little bit, for people who haven't seen the film, tell us a little bit about the film.
So the film is called Family Obligations. It's about Peter Steele, played by Chris over there, who returns to his hometown after the sudden death of his father, and finds himself the unlikely, reluctant caretaker of his uncle Frank, played by Frank Viola.
Hi, Frank Viola.
How are you? And Peter is kind of a loner. He's been away from his family and from any kind of meaningful relationship for a long time. And through Frank and through meeting Melanie Chandler to my immediate right here, he gets kind of pulled into their world and learns to care about people for the first time in his life. And it's the growing pains he goes through in that process.
How did you come up with that character? I know that you know, when you explained in the Q&A how you were looking at a Peanuts, and there was this big moral, this life lesson, right?
Right.
But you must know somebody, this character,
Well,
this
see,
lead character,
you know,
or is it just somebody, was it part of you, or how?
We all, my wife and I had these conversations about people in our families, people in our lives who had become caretakers of other people, and the emotional toll that takes on people, and how, as we get older, this is something that, we never necessarily thought about, but is something that becomes part of your life. And, to have someone who is so unprepared for that role thrust into it would be a tremendous story, because you're seeing all this change before your eyes. And that's what it is. It's a character who is grossly unfit for this, but he tries the best he can, and he learns to actually engage and to care about people for the first time. So that was the idea.
Have you been a caretaker? No.
I wouldn't say in any kind of serious way. But I will say that in growing up and watching my mother take care of my grandmother, and watching my parents kind of now take care of older family members, and just as I have kids now, just seeing that this is work that goes largely unnoticed, underappreciated, and it's something that I think is really just rich in human drama, and rich in the sort of character pieces that I find interesting, at least.
You know how you say there's a reason there's a reason you're doing something? I'm taking care of my mother right now, and we're just getting her back home. And this was just
Hit the mark.
perfect.
Yeah.
And just in the last 15 minutes, I had a conversation with several people who said, I'm going through this. And I think it is a universal. It's something that we all can kind of connect to. And, we all find ourselves in situations that we did not choose to be in, that we did not know we'd be facing. We learned something about ourselves in the process. We learned something about other people. And I think that it really brings out, maybe not the best, maybe not the worst, but it is us at our most human and our most vulnerable. And that vulnerability is interesting.
The best and the worst.
Right, exactly. Well said.
I can vouch for that. How'd you get this funny guy?
So we wrote this around Chris. Chris has been my collaborator in a number of things. Right.
Yeah.
And so we needed a guy who could believably be Chris's uncle. And I was looking around at the local actors, and I went and saw his stand-up, and I said, I think this guy'd be good. I sent him to Chris, and Chris said, I don't want him.
I said,
no.
I said, I won't do it if this guy's
No,
doing it.
I'm out.
And he goes, perfect dynamic.
No, but it was great, and we
Stealer.
reached out to Frank, and he was game, and we had an unbelievably great cast and crew. We shot such a tight schedule that if these guys were not as tip top as they were, we never would have made it.
And this
so.
guy, this guy wasn't firing.
And Kevin
at
was
all.
a one man.
Yeah.
He was grip and electric and sound, and he was
VIP over
every
here.
department. He stepped in on everything. He'd operate if we needed to operate here in sound. He played with the kids off screen to keep us occupied. He was their babysitter before he was the AD of this. So it
The
was
real babysitter.
Yeah, it's a very well. Chris and I.
Ken was my high school teacher.
Right.
I'm sorry, what?
Ken was my high school English teacher.
Okay.
Right, and Stephanie, who was the sort of office assistant, she was another one of my students, and it was really a family affair. It was really something that we all had kind of a personal connection and relationship. So it was great to tap that, and everyone really, I asked a lot of favors on this. I really called in everything, and people responded and were just so good to me, and I really appreciate that.
We're all going to cash in, too.
Yeah, and I'm
All of us are
going
gonna
to
cash
have
in
to pay
endlessly.
these people back
Yeah.
for the
I
rest
think
of
we
my
might
life.
have already done that.
It just sounds a little bit like cheap labor. Is that what you're saying?
Well, we used our own children for that reason.
Yes.
That's definitely the case. Because I will sign off on my kid being on set, and other people wouldn't. But yeah, that helps. We're never going to say no to that.
Right, you can't. You're right. When you have to do the hours for the kids, you're
And I
like,
wasn't going to provide it to you.
you're like, no.
Yeah,
It was really. We were really only there from 10 to 5.
Right. No. So that was But it was a family. It was a family, and we shot. Chandler and my daughter Eleanor. Their apartment was actually our apartment. Frank's apartment was my mother-in-law's apartment. She lived upstairs from us in the building we shot in. A good friend of mine, Pete, was associate producer on the film. That was the house. That was Peter's father's house. So we called in every favor. We worked together as teachers. We called in every favor. This was really a labor of love of a lot of people.
Is this your first film?
This is our second feature film.
Second feature.
We made a film we made it out in Los Angeles. This is the first thing we've done back here.
Okay.
This is home, and this is our first production at home.
All right, and that was a feature as well.
You just said it was
a feature.
the mix, yes.
Funny.
Yeah, that's probably more of a straight
comedy.
more of a straight
dark
comedy. More of a straight
Dark.
comedy than
Yeah.
a little dark, but
It's
not
about a
as-
good man making all the wrong decisions and trying to improve his life.
Also played by Chris Malinka.
I was
Played by
gonna
me.
say.
And we co-wrote that one.
Right. We co-wrote that. Chris directed
I
that.
co-directed
with
that,
another guy
yeah.
named Greg Townsend.
I co-edited that too. I'm just an egomaniac.
I did the sound on that.
I just want to get my name on credits as often as possible.
I was the boom operator on that set.
Yeah, there you go.
No, it was again labor of love. Like I got in the car to go to the airport from school, and then found myself holding a boom pole later that night.
Yep.
And we shot that the same way we shot this, as fast and as cheap and as good as we could make it for what we had. So it was really resource filmmaking.
Yeah,
just getting it out there.
It was really well done.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Melanie.
Hi.
Hi. Tell us about
I feel
you.
like I should disappear.
You were
back
so
here
good.
while
All right, we
this goes
can
on.
switch.
There we go.
There you go.
You were so amazing, and I loved the shot. I loved the shots, the profile shots you had with the scenes. It was just. I know they were like, okay, now talk over there to that tree, but it really
No,
worked.
no.
It was beautiful.
Chris was always there to give her an eyeline.
Yeah.
He's a professional.
Yeah.
He
always there
stayed.
to
I
do
mean,
that.
he's
over
a
there.
star,
And you
but
were looking over
yeah.
And I usually
No.
like to do this. I usually
He
be
did
like, could you get
send.
lower?
He did send a stunt double for a few scenes,
Just
which
a
was
couple.
weird.
Just a couple.
But no.
Was it one? Is your daughter?
No.
Oh.
No.
So-
Well, actually, the funny story about that is that they were shooting a scene. It was kind of this emotional scene, and my daughter's watch alarm went off camera, and we
funny
finally
stories.
called cut. And I said, "Eleanor, can we turn that off?" She goes, "That's okay. It goes off by itself in a minute." So we just held for the watch alarm, and then they went right back into it because they're professionals.
Eleanor's Mia.
Yes, that's right.
I just talked to her, and they sent her to bed. But I just took because it's kind of late.
Which is for the best.
Yeah, right. She didn't want a Bud Light. But she told. I said, "Are you going to be an actress? You were so wonderful." And she said, "No, I'm gonna be
Scientist?
an oceanographer, and then something else I didn't understand what it was."
Astronomer. That's
An
Eleanor.
astronomer. I said,
We're struggling to understand her ourselves.
much smarter
Yeah.
than any of us." And then who was
Smarter
that? Was that your
choices.
wife? Was that her mom? And she was
Yeah,
going,
that's right, yes.
"Tell her thank you. Say thank you.
That would be Shauna. Yeah, that makes sense. Who's the executive producer?
Say thank you." Yeah. Okay, back to Melanie. So, where are you? How do they find you? Who are you? You're
They found me
amazing.
through this guy. Thank
true.
you. Yeah. So I met Kevin through Kevin's boyfriend Jordan, and I met Jordan in an acting class. And I auditioned for a movie short that Kevin wrote and directed like a year ago.
Yeah.
And then I met Ken on set there, and then the rest
That's
is
it?
history.
You didn't even like audition with Chris and like what's the chemistry?
No, I did
and-
not. I actually did not audition for this, which was a happy surprise. Ken sent me an email.
I said, you're going to get whatever I give you and you're going to like it.
That's
The
exactly.
chemistry was
Yeah.
amazing.
Exactly right.
It was amazing chemistry.
We got along very well.
Yeah.
No, that was
At the
immediate.
first reading.
We had a table reading of the
Yeah,
script,
yeah,
and
yeah.
right away, Kevin and I looked across one another and went, this is going to be good.
You were like, oh, thank
It worked
God.
out, yeah. But we kind of thought that was going to be the case. We knew they were going to be great.
It felt like I was bringing like a future like spouse to a family dinner that day. It was like, I
It
really
was,
hope
yeah.
she gets along
Like
with
her,
I really
like
everybody.
hope I really hope Chris likes her.
Everybody else is like married and brother-in-laws and like sisters.
It's a
and
very
I'm like,
tight-knit circle to penetrate, I'm realizing.
Yeah.
From the inside, it doesn't feel that way, but it must be a little monolithic.
Well,
from the
everyone
outside.
knows each other. It's such a
Right.
family affair.
Yeah.
So now I know everything about Ken's family.
Yeah, you're in the middle of it.
She's had so
Middle
many
of it.
family dinners with us at this
It
point.
was very exciting to finally meet Chris's wife tonight because she was like the final piece of the family, person that I hadn't met. So it was exciting.
Don't tell anybody he has a wife, because I think more people will come see the film.
I lied.
Let's not
So,
play that
no.
game. I'm very
Matinee,
happily married.
matinee idol Chris Monica.
I'm good.
Let's not
And
play
she's
that
right
game,
over here.
says the straight man.
She's
Okay.
the one who pushed me in the interview. She was
What?
like, get over there.
She also knit
When
the
she
hat.
come in?
She
Which
also-
one is it?
Shauna
Shauna
knit the
knit
hat.
the hat.
Shauna knit the hat. My wife knit the hat.
Brett designed the
Never
poster.
mind.
Brett designed the poster.
poster.
That's true. Brett
Frank
designed
did
All
the
right,
back in here.
so Chris
Here, I'm gonna
Roach
rotate.
yells out your name when he sees
Yes.
the credit in the beginning because you're a comic?
I am, yes. I do some stand-up comedy. Been doing it for about 4 years. I've worked with Chris a couple times, and he's great. He's great. So.
Yeah. What's your takeaway from this experience in this film and this role?
Well, I mean, it was definitely a little different role than I've played, and I really liked it. I have some life experience with people passing and dealing with that, so it was able to reach into something.
Yeah, I mean, as an actor, the writing was just so
That's very kind of you.
easy, right?
You know
I
what
mean,
made the
it
writing
really.
so good was the director who said, "These are your lines. Do with them as you wish." As long as the intent was there. There were a couple things he wanted,
Okay.
like exact, and that was fine. But
We run a pretty
he
loose
wanted
ship.
it to be.
Yeah.
He wanted us to feel comfortable with each other. So it was kind of like just.
What was great is that
They
you
were
know,
more of a
Chandler-
guideline than they were lines.
This is really more of a trend, but Chandler had not directed Chandler scene yet, and Chris and I have worked together a lot. And Chandler goes, there's a couple of lines. I don't know if I. And Chris goes, oh, it's fine. You're not gonna care. It's fine. I was like, oh, thanks, Chris. Because
No,
I'm
but you know
trying
what?
to convey some sense of authorial presence here. But just make up what you want, and he'll be fine with it. But obviously, in reality. They really, from the table read, they took it the way it was written, and I think everyone really got it. I think that people did their reading, and they really locked in on what the characters were. And so,
It was
from
them.
my perspective,
It-
it was
yeah.
a very easy.
Okay.
director. And you also have, I have to understand, like Kevin is an incredibly talented filmmaker. Chris is an incredibly talented filmmaker. To be the director on set when you have two great directors with you, you're not going to go wrong. You're going to be fine because they have ideas, they bring them to you, and you get to take some credit for them, and you go off on your way. And it's nice. So it really is a great set to work on.
It was really a phenomenal film. I hope everybody gets
And I really
to
should
see
say,
it.
especially because he's right off camera, so much of the way this ended up looking and sounding is a credit to Jan Clear, who is our colorist, our sound designer, sound mixer, who took, a very fast shoot, not a lot of cut, not a lot. We had a lot of warts and made it look and sound absolutely phenomenal. And when it was up there on the screen, you really can see all the hard work he did on it, and you really deserve a tremendous amount of credit for it. The final, the final product has so many important pieces of the puzzle he put in for us. So a lot of credit goes there.
Congratulations, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Really, I'm thrilled to be standing here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank
nice
you.
to talk to you.
You too.